Okay, so why don't you take a second, pause the video, try and do the problem, and then after you've given an attempt, we can work on it together. Okay, so let's look at this. We've got if y to the negative 2 plus 2y to the negative 1 minus 15 equals 0, which of the following could be the value of y? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this to 1 over y squared. Whenever you have something like y to the negative 2, that's the same thing as 1 over y squared. It's a property of exponents in this way, and this will work no matter what number you choose in your exponent. It could be negative 5 to 1 over y to the 5th. It could be anything of that nature. So I'm going to change it to that 1 over y squared. Then I'm also going to change this to 2 over y. Right, so that's just 2 times y to the negative 1 is the same thing as 2 times 1 over y. That's just using the same property we had here, but with this, with the negative 1 exponent, and that turns into 2 over y. So that's where we're at there, plus 2 over y, and then I'm going to bring this 15 to the other side. I'm going to have this equal 15. So whatever we're doing here, this has to equal 15. And now that I've done that, I think it's time to start plugging in some answers and checking them. And that's what I'm going to do. So I go to here and I go 1 over 3 squared plus 2 over 3 is equal to 15. And that gets me 1 over 9 plus 2 over 3, which is equal to 15. Is that? Definitely not. No, it's not. And how do we find that out? We can check this. So let's try and get these to be together. This is going to be 2 over 18. If we change 1 over 9 into 2 over 18, that's just multiplying both sides of that fraction by 2, and that gives us oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is I wanted to change this into the same thing as this. So to change this, I need to get this to 9, so I multiply this by 3. So I multiply both sides by 3, and I get 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 3 is 9. So that leaves me to 1 over 9 plus 6 over 9, which is equal to 7 over 9. And that is definitely not equal to 15. Alright, so that's not going to work. So we try again, do a different one. Let's go. So we did 3, that one didn't work. And then I'm going to try negative 1/3 next. So if we try negative 1/3 next, what do we get? So 1 over negative 1/3 squared plus 2 over negative 1/3. Alright, equals 15. Now this is going to be property of exponents and algebra at this point. This is going to turn into, whenever you divide by 1/3, it's the same thing as timesing by 3, and then we just have to remember that negative. So that negative is going to come into play, and it's going to become a negative, and it's going to flip. So 2 times 3 over 1, which is going to equal to 6. Here we have 1 divided by negative 1/3 squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this out. So whenever you have a fraction like this, so negative 1/3 squared, you can actually bring that fraction down. You can negative 1 squared over 3 squared. Oh, sorry, the positive goes away because you're multiplying these things by each other. So you get 1 over 9 again. So this turns into 1 over 9. And whenever you divide by 1 over 9, you are, yeah, so, alright, let's just do that really quickly. Negative 1/3 times negative 1/3. Alright, how you do that? Negative and the negative multiply, that turns into positive. 1 times 1 multiply, that turns into 1. And 3 times 3 multiplies, and that turns into 9. So you get 1/9. That's negative 1/3 squared. So 1 divided by 1/9. Right, 1 divided by 1/9 is going to be the same thing as 1 multiplied by 9. So that's going to be 9. Alright, so then we're getting 9 minus 6. Does that equal 15? And the answer is no, it does not. So that doesn't work either. But we are getting a little bit higher, right? This turns into, this is at least getting positive. This looks at fractions, and this looks at, these are 9. These are whole numbers at least. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to look at something like this one. Look at this one, because I think this 1/5 here is going to turn into 25, and I think that this 2 over 1/5 is going to turn into 10, and that's going to create 15. That's what I think. So I'm going to try that. And we're still working from this formula. So we get 1 over a negative 1/5 squared plus 2 over negative 1/5. It has to be equal to 15. Alright, so let's do this again. So we get 2 divided by negative 1/5 is the same thing as saying 2 multiplied by 5 and then with a negative. So that positive goes away and turns into a negative, and this turns into a 2 times 5. And then this right here becomes 1/5 times 1/5. So let's do that over here. 1/5, negative 1/5 times a negative 1/5 is going to be equal to 5 times 5 is 25, negative and a negative becomes a positive, 1 and a 1 becomes a 1. So we get positive 1 over 25. So we get 1 over 25 minus 2 times 5 equals 15. Alright, so let's keep going. 15 is equal to minus 2 times 5, that's minus 10. And then 1 over 25 is 1 divided by 1 over 25, and that is equal to 1 times 25, so that's equal to 25. So then we get 25 minus 10 is equal to 15, which means we get 15 is equal to 15, which means this is the answer we are looking for.